Off spot on MLB Network Radio and live simulcast on TV as well, and we're setting up to get Albert Pujols, Hall of Fame superstar player, and then Sierra Kyle, the daughter of pitcher Darryl Kyle, who passed away as a member of the Cardinals back in 2002 of a heart attack, a heart issue. And they're teaming up with a program launching Play with Heart, which is a multi-season collaboration with professional clubs. The Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies, Braves, Astros, Cardinals, Giants, Padres, and Angels, alongside Women's Health. And the message is out there to know your LDL, the bad cholesterol, know that level. And it is certainly one. For me, it's certainly relevant. My dad had a quadruple bypass at 50. And his father passed away at 48 when my dad was just 4 or 5 years old of a heart attack. And so my dad had much the same issue that his father had, but he lived another 35 years after having a quadruple bypass. So technology and knowledge and all of it has really, extended life. But knowing your blood work and your cholesterol levels is very important. And so that message is getting out there, and we'll get a chance to talk to Albert and Sierra Kyle. The Cardinals have been a team this year that I think have been a very pleasant surprise. I was really worried about how this season was going to go for them, but they've played better than I anticipated.
They certainly have. They've gotten better pitching than I thought they were going to get. I mean, we all knew they set the reset button or pushed the reset button on the season, and you have to go through that from time to time. But I do think they have played a little bit more energy. They're young. They're playing with that kind of their pants on fire, so to speak. And it's been fun to watch. I mean, they've got some young players that are really talented. They just continue to have to get that pitching.
They came back with a big win against the Pirates the other night, down 2 in the 9th inning and getting Pedro Pajes and then J.J. Weatherholt hitting that home run to tie it. And then Fermin ended up, it's been really interesting. So they've been a fun team to watch and playing some inspired baseball in what is a division where everybody is over 500 right now and playing some pretty good baseball for sure. So they've been a fun team to follow, no question about that. And certainly you think of Albert Pujols, still think about the Cardinals there. And it is our pleasure, though, to welcome in Albert Pujols, along with Sierra Kyle, the daughter of Darryl Kyle, who pitched for the St. Louis Cardinals and passed away of a heart attack back in 2002. And we welcome them both in right now. Albert and Sierra, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to be able to catch up with you and what is a very important program and a message that you're really trying to get out there as well. So nice to see the both of you. And Albert, what can you tell us a little bit about this Playing with Heart program that you've teamed up with Sierra on to try to promote knowledge in education?
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Chris, for having us. Playing with Heart, this is a program, obviously to learn more about, high cholesterol and talking to the doctor. I think sometimes as a player, we feel like because we're in good shape, everything is okay with us, and sometimes that cholesterol number is really high, and with that, it comes, a big risk, having a heart attack. So I think our message that we want to deliver today is that, to go on the website, visit the playingwithheart.com to learn more about this program and get more educated.
So you guys have gone from just the St. Louis Cardinals to now 9 teams. Talk about how that expansion has happened and what maybe future expansion you guys hope to have as well.
Yeah, so last year I was honored to be able to work with Merck and Women Heart on the first event with the St. Louis Cardinals to help, just spread awareness about, bad cholesterol and getting to a doctor to just learn about your body. Really excited to hear that, I get to work with Albert this year and a lot of other legends in the space. And like I said, continue to hit more people and spread awareness about, like I said, just learning about your body, getting to a doctor and, not waiting till it's too late to, like I said, know what's going on.
Sierra, I got to tell you, it's so inspirational for you to be doing this, and we're honored to have you here because it can't be easy to be part of this as well. And so, that message of getting it out there, how about for men and women? Is there a difference in the risk factors when it comes to cholesterol and the bad cholesterol?
Really, at the end of the day, anyone is at risk of, having bad cholesterol. Obviously, my father passed when I was 5 of a heart attack, and it went unnoticed. From that, my mom has been really on top of my brothers and I about, just like I said, getting to a doctor, learning our cholesterol, and like I said, helping to spread awareness.
Is there an age that people should really, start to lock in on this? Like, is it, as a child, or is it maybe more like in your adult stages? Like, is there, I guess, an age that, this is one of those things that, like, okay, I need to start getting this checked?
Really, at the end of the day, after what happened with my father, my mom had my brothers and I going early, and I think it's really just everyone is different, and that's why it's really, at the end of the day, important to get to your doctor and learn about your own body and, like I said, what steps you need to be taking. I think this program is really informative, and, if anyone needs to learn more, they can go to playingwithheart.com. But like I said, I've been on top of it, using my story, and like I said, excited to continue to spread awareness overall.
A great campaign, no question about that. Albert, curious, watching the Cardinals this year, they're playing some pretty good baseball where they look like they're going to reset some. They're playing over 500. What have you seen from this young Cardinals team so far?
Was there in the minor league. I think, the energy that the young players getting the opportunity, they taking advantage of that. I think, they're putting the ball in play. They're playing great defense. And, that's why they're playing great, and you show him right there, Jordan Walker, having a great year. I think this is a guy that the Cardinals been waiting for a while and, having an outstanding year. But I think it goes back to the young players, playing with a high energy level. And, I think at the end of the day, their mentality is, hey, we don't have anything to lose. Let's go out there and play and have fun. And I think, that city needs it.
Yeah, no doubt. Albert, what has been your reaction to like the last week of baseball, in the sense that here we are in April, we've had 2 managers let go, the season's off and running at this point, but just give us your general takeaways.
It's crazy, pretty early, it's so premature in the season to have 2 managers, being fired like that. But it's tough. It's a tough decision. It's a tough decision of, the GM has to make and the owner, But obviously, they go by the record and whatever happened last year, getting into the postseason and all that stuff. But it's great. I think when you look at Alex, Alex is being one of the best managers in the game. And I was shocked when that happened. And yesterday seeing, the news about Thompson as well, what he's done in Philadelphia, but I'm sure, so early that those teams are going to have the opportunity to probably get it run back into the postseason, hopefully.
You've interviewed for managers' positions. You've managed in the Dominican Winter League, in the WBC. What have you learned about yourself as a manager, and how different it is doing that job versus being a player?
It's different, but what I love about it is communicating with the players. I think as Chris can tell you this, as a player that played the game for 23 years in this level, I think I have a pretty good idea how to approach guy, when to approach it, when to know, and really communicate what I love for them to do and what they expect for me. And I think at the end of the day, the game doesn't change at all. These guys are going to go out there as a professional and play the game hard, and they don't need no motivation. I think the jersey that they wear at the end of the day, that motivates them enough. For me, what I had learned is just getting back in it, looking from a manager corner now to have that communication with these guys. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, in the Dominican Republic when I did it. And it's a challenge, as a manager, because when you win, all players win, and when you lose, they all point at the manager, and that's a risk, that we all take, and that's a challenge, and I love it. And I can see it from the World Baseball Classic. We were 5-1, but everybody remember the game that we lost against the U.S., so it's pretty tough, but it's a challenge that I would love to take and hopefully get an opportunity in the big leagues in the future.
Yeah, we get that opportunity too. Describe what it was like playing your first game. You guys got the chance to play the Tigers in the Dominican Republic, and it's the first time the Dominican Republic team has played on their homeland. Like, the place was packed. It was going crazy. I know you know a lot about winter ball, and I'm sure that the experience was very similar, but what was it like to be a part of that and just playing in front of your home country?
Remember, I never had an opportunity to wear our jersey, representing the Dominican Republic, and then go to the Dominican and play exhibition game. I was play in the first World Baseball Classic 2006, which it was awesome. And now coming as a manager, it was a different experience, but it was an experience that I love it. I think it was great for baseball. In the DR, people were hungry, people were looking forward, and that night, I tell you, it was amazing, just to play against the Detroit Tiger, which I thank them for saying yes to come down to the Dominican and play those 2 exhibition games. It was an experience, that we gave to young players that look up to Soto, O'Neal Cruz, and Julio Rodriguez, Fernando Tatis, Junior Caminero, all those fans that love these guys, and now they have an opportunity to watch them play in their own country. It was pretty amazing. And then at the end of the day, I know part of the money went to some of the family members, they lost some of their family in that tragedy of the nightclub and just it.
Yeah, great cause. It was a great cause about that. Sierra, I'm curious, how much are you a fan still of baseball? How much do you follow it? And who's your favorite player of all time? Other than your dad, who's your favorite player of all time?
I think my goal this year, which is why I'm excited to be doing this, is to just go to more baseball games. But I actually out of college was working for the Texas Rangers in the front office, and that was really cool because my first day full time, Rob Matwick was working there, or is working there, and he had worked at the Astros with my dad. So he wrote me like a handwritten note saying he had met him and knew him and was there if I needed anything. And I thought the baseball community is just really tight, and it was really cool to be a part of that. Favorite player, I'll just say Albert. Heard only amazing things. It's got to be a Cardinals or a Cardinal. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty easy pick because it turns out he was a pretty good player. So, yeah, I like that.
Well, we had connection there, Her father was really special to me my first year, I can remember him just telling me, hey, in spring training, getting on the bus, breaking camp, he's like, hey, don't be afraid of making the All-Star team this year. I was like, all right, DK, no problem. Going to Philadelphia, buying my first suit and clothes, sitting with him, on the bench during batting practice and just talking baseball. I mean, it's even giving me chills right now just to think about it, because I remember him, how if you were around Darryl Kyle, he was so smart. I mean, not just in the mound, just to be around him, you always pick something. And he used to take me out to the dugout and just talk baseball. And I remember one day we were in Houston and he was talking to me about hitting. And I noticed that he was picking my brain about, okay, how I approach the pitcher, because if I had to face him in a couple of years, if he wasn't with me, then he knew how to pitch. And I look at him, I was like, DK, you just want me to give you my tricks. I'm like, get out of here, And he looked at me, he's like, man, you're too smart. But I remember also as well, him telling me, these things that I'm doing for you is because I know that you're going to do it for others. And this is what I hear today, to talk about more about this program, playing hard. And that's why I got committed to, because the family connection that I felt, the responsibility that I felt with the family, with my relationship with Darryl Kyle, and it's like I say, it kind of bring me some excitement on me, and at the same time sadness, because we lost him so young at his prime, and I wish God would have gave me more opportunity with him, because I would have learned so much more than what I did that year.
Yeah, I think certainly everybody would agree on that. Well, listen, Sarah, again, it's an inspiration. We're very grateful to have you doing this. And where can people go again to get more information on this great program?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, if you want to learn more, you can go to playingwithheart.com. Like I said, super excited to be working with women, Hart and Merck again, working with Albert and some other great guys. But at the end of the day, we're here to tell people to get to the doctor and learn about your body and, use my story to kind of help spread a message.
Well, thank you to both you,
so
Albert
much.
and Sarah. Thank you. You made our show better today. Great education for all of us as well. All the best to you in this program. Safe travels, good health, and hopefully we'll talk again soon at some point.
Thank you, Steve.
thanks for
Thanks,
having me.
Chris.
Thank you, guys,
Appreciate
both.
it. Good to see you guys.
Thank you so much. And again, Sierra, Kyle, and Albert Pujols, and a terrific program there. All right, we're going to come back with our morning matchup pick. Maybe we'll take some St. Louis Cardinals today in the morning matchup. Next, here in the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio and live. 4 home run, 2 singles, 4 RBIs, 2 runs, 2 stolen bases, and a partridge in a pear tree. So he gets the win yesterday. And that's after Tim took Pete Alonso and wasted a home run. And then the TV side took Travis Bazzana, who was 0 for 2 with a couple walks. X took Kyle Tucker, who was 1 for 3 with a single. And I took Ben Rice, who was 0 for 4 when I had to scramble at the end of the game. So I was going to take Ohtani, then realized he might not hit. So then I said Ben Rice, forgetting he was facing DeGrom, and nobody hits DeGrom. So panic move on my part there. All right. So for today, though, I'm better prepared for what I want to do with the morning matchup pick. But let's go with Tim to start with. Tim, where are you going today?
I'm going to pick on my guy Chris Bassett today. Christian Walker absolutely destroys.
You're going against
Chris
your own Oriole.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Sometimes the morning
No wonder
matchup.
morale is so low in Baltimore.
Fan are you? I mean, you're picking.
What are we doing?
against
No
your
fireworks.
Once again,
Picking on
Chris
our
saw
own
Chris Bassett
pitchers.
pitch. He knows. Christian Walker is hitting almost 500 over the last week. Destroys Chris Bassett. So I'm going to take Christian Walker.
Wow.
Well, I guess I better find somebody else now.
Yeah, I did too.
I'm sitting
I was
here
all over
thinking
that one
there's
as well.
no way he's actually going to take somebody against his own team. This is the perfect
No
matchup.
chance.
You got to be objective, Chris.
Apparently,
Got to be objective.
Apparently.
I don't know. All right, Patrick, where are you going to go?
So I'm picking on Brian Bayo, who has an ERA of 9. He's against the Blue Jays. Give me Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
You got to be
Wow.
kidding me. That
You
was my
guys-
backup. Okay, hold on.
That's amazing.
I got to think of something.
You guys are very aggressive in going picking against pitchers instead of for hitters. All right, on the TV side, where are we going today?
They're taking Moises Ballesteros.
Moises
Ooh,
Ballesteros,
okay.
red hot bat
right.
for the Cubs. I do like that. Good pick there by the TV side. We'll get them on the board here. All right, Jimmy, where are you going?
I'm going a homer pick. Give me Travis Bazzana. I know, he was picked yesterday, went 0 for 2 with 2 walks. I am going to take him today. I know it's off Drew Rasmussen, who doesn't give up a lot of hits, but I'm hoping that somehow, because Tim took somebody against his own team, by me taking somebody on my own team, it's going to help me even more.
All right, I'm going to go with a guy who's hitting 400 over the last 7 days, and he's got 2 homers, 6 ribbies during that period of time. He's slugging 780 during that period. Josh Young is red hot for the Texas Rangers right now, and facing Elmer Rodriguez, the youngster coming up, promoted by the Yankees in that game. So looking forward to watching that one as well. That'll be a good matchup in that game later tonight. As well. But going to go with Josh Young, who is just so hot right now and getting things going. Now, some interesting pitching matchups today. Drew Rasmussen against Gavin Williams. That Rays Guardians matchup's a good one.
It really is. This is 2 elite starters. Gavin Williams, I think, is going to be in contention for a Cy Young here in the very near future. He's got that kind of stuff. Drew Rasmussen has been one of the most consistent starters since he has been a starter in this Rays rotation when he's healthy. There's probably not going to be a lot of runs scored in this game, in the sense that every game the Rays and Guardians play is only a 1-run game, whether that's 3-2, 1-0. It's just a 1-run game, so they're not high scoring, and the offense has really been struggling for Cleveland in particular. So I'm hoping that somehow, some way, the dam breaks today, and there's going to be a little offense, but we all know that there's probably not going to be.
Right. Now, so for Don Mattingly in his second game, he has his ace on the mound, Christopher Sanchez, but facing Logan Webb. Now, Logan Webb's been good, but not great so far this year.
Right.
And so the Giants really need Logan Webb to get back on track. And Christopher Sanchez at times has given up more hits than you would anticipate so far this year. But, I mean, listen, we saw the turnaround for Luzardo yesterday for the Phillies. He was outstanding, going 7 shutout innings. But that'll be a good matchup. Christopher Sanchez and Logan Webb today. And we'll see if the Phillies offense can't keep the ball rolling a little bit like they got it started yesterday.
Yeah, and again, very tough matchup to have any offense going in this particular series at all with Webb, who's an extreme ground ball pitcher. You know, Christopher Sanchez can punch dudes out, can get you to put the ball on the ground as well. You just hope that the momentum that Philly had yesterday kind of carries over to today. You hope they don't fall flat today just because, you know, now it's like the next day and it's like, okay, now we've all come to the realization of this is our new norm. So you hope they just don't fall flat.
Yeah, and so the other one for me, so Luis Severino pitching in Sacramento today. Now, remember how little he liked pitching in Sacramento last year. He did not like it, so it'll be interesting to see Michael Wacha on the mound. Wacha's been really good for Kansas City. The Royals going for their 5th straight win, trying to get back into that central race here early on in the season. Where do you think? Do you think the Royals will get back into that conversation with the Guardians and Tigers for the rest of the year?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. They're too good not to. And again, this division is a little more top heavy than it is, you know, complete. And I think it's those 3 teams you just specifically mentioned. But yeah, I really think Kansas City's got a shot to win this division, not only just get back in it, but win it.
Yeah, the other game I'm really intrigued by, the Detroit Tigers taking on the Atlanta Braves. So you've got Tarek Skubal on the mound facing the Atlanta lineup. Matt Olson has handled left-handed pitching well, but there's left-handers, then there's really Skubal. And then you've got J.R. Ritchie on the mound, the youngster on the mound for Atlanta as well, who pitched well his first time out. And they're not saying it, but you know, they move Reynaldo Lopez to the pen. I think this kid's got a chance to stay in the rotation. He's that good. And so that's a game to check out later as well. All right. Our thanks to Ruben Amaro Jr. for jumping on, talk a little Phillies baseball, and Rob Thompson being dismissed and Don Mattingly stepping in. Our thanks to Sierra, Kyle, and Albert Pujols for getting the word out about getting your cholesterol checked and maintaining your heart health. For Chris Jimenez, Chris, always fun, buddy. Great job on your part. Great job by Patrick and Tim in the studio as well. Power Alien Radio.